Hello, everybody, and hope you're staying warm. Today, I'm joined by several of my 4 hour away neighbors up in Baltimore, Maryland. In CBP, we talk regularly about the value of state and local guilds, but today is a little different. We're going to learn how the South Baltimore Brewery District is uniting with joint events and marketing. But first, let's meet our guest, and Judy, because you are to the right of me, you get to go first. Tell everybody a little bit about what you do in beer.
So my name's Judy Mike, owner and brewer at Checkerspot Brewing in Baltimore. We opened in 2018, so it's my husband and myself. I do the brewing and sort of business side, and he does all the sales and distribution. And we're rocking and rolling, and hit our 6th year this year, and excited.
When you first opened, about how many breweries were in the Baltimore area?
Gosh, I'd have to go back and look. Like in the greater Baltimore area.
Yeah, just throw out a number.
Probably like 8, 10.
Yeah. And looking at it now, about how many are nearby in that same area?
So some have opened, some have closed. So it's increased a little bit, but a few more. Like Pickett and Wico, and a few more have opened. I don't know. Definitely.
Looking forward to learning more about Baltimore as a whole over this next hour.
I'm sorry, what?
Looking forward to learning more about Baltimore over the next hour.
Yeah, we'll help you with that.
Now, Mike, you're up. Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
I'm Mike Richardson, co-founder of Wico Street Beer Co. We're family owned, so my business partner is my cousin. We started this back in 2022, so we just turned 2 in November. We're arcade themed brewery right here in Pigtown, so we have pinball machines, dog friendly. We do like our sour beer, so we kind of wear the sour beer hat here in the South Baltimore Brewery District. But yeah, excited to be a part of this. Thanks for inviting me.
Now, this is fun. What's your favorite pinball machine you have in the tap room?
We just got the new X-Men machine from Stern, so I have been playing that one the most. My favorite one probably is Godzilla, because I'm the best at it. That's the one I'm the best at.
Sounds like a challenge.
Yeah,
No.
I mean we do battle each other here in the tap room with some of the bartenders, trying to put up the scores. Jordan's probably the best one. He probably has the high score on most of these machines.
Sounds like a fun way to bring the staff together. Now, Kate, we had the opportunity to hang out a little at the Virginia Brewers Conference, Judy as well, but we'll probably actually get more time to have a conversation today than we did then because it was just so many people and so busy. But for everyone who hasn't met you before, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. We had a lot of fun at the conference, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. Can't wait for next year.
Yeah. So I'm Kate Conway. I'm the co-owner of Pickett Brewing. My co-owner is my neighbor, Jason Howard, and he does all of the brewing operations and the brewing, and I do the business operations. So we are sort of right in the middle of Checkerspot and Wico, if you're walking, and we're 2 blocks from the stadiums, and all of us are sort of right here in the backyard of Ravens Stadium, and then Camden Yards is just a little bit further away where the Orioles play.
So let's get to know Baltimore a little bit more first. So when people think Baltimore, what is it known for? What's coming to mind? Are there any big things that really set your area apart from other parts in Maryland or other parts across the country?
I think that Baltimore and Maryland are known for crabs and the Chesapeake Bay. I think that's what most people think of. And I think beer, most people would think of Natty Boh, but we're trying to change that around and get people to know that we have a ton of craft beer here, especially right near the stadiums where everyone's tailgating, and there are a lot of options with a variety of different kinds of beers.
Judy and Mike, is there anything else when you think Baltimore that comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of great neighborhoods, a lot of different neighborhoods, amazing restaurants, and it's just a great place to visit and to live. I came here a long time ago just to go to school, and I meant to be here for 5 years, and now it's been 22 years, and no looking back.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of sports pride. I mean, we see it we all see it with the Ravens and the Orioles games. I mean, Marylanders or Baltimore, we take pride in our Orioles and our Ravens teams, definitely.
How close to those stadiums is your tap room?
We're probably the farthest. We're 3 or 4 blocks from the stadium.
Oh no, 3 or 4 blocks?
Yeah, right.
We're about 2 blocks.
It's I think it's a 10 to 12 minute walk to the Ravens Stadium from where we are.
I would imagine you get a bit of traffic on game days.
Yeah, we all
Yes.
we all do. Yeah.
So obviously having those stadiums nearby is really nice. But when you all were looking at where to open up your tap rooms, what were the factors that made you settle on where you're at? Because, obviously the 3 of you, you're within walking distance of each other. There's something about this area that screams we need to be here. So for each of you, like, what was it that helped you kind of solidify this is where you wanted to open up a brewery?
Yeah, we looked down to obviously more industrial areas are desirable for starting up a brewery. There's also been a lot of investment in the area where we're also trying to invest and improve. We're really close to the Horseshoe Casino. Top Golf moved in about a block away, and they're really trying to redevelop this area. It's gonna be called the Walk at Warner.
So you said that one more time. What are they calling it?
The Walk at Warner. It's Warner Street. So they're trying to make it, sort of go from the casino to Raven Stadium to that sort of one side, and then we're on the other side of the stadium. So really trying to turn this area into a true entertainment district.
Yeah, for us, when Jordan and we looked at a lot of places, county and city. There was a couple things that we wanted to for a location. We wanted something more industrial and something somewhat historic. So the building that we're in, it's an 8-floor warehouse. It used to be the old Baltimore Bargain House back in, probably over 80 years ago, maybe close to 100 years ago. So there's some history to the building that we're in. And we also wanted to be inside of a neighborhood. So basically when we found this spot, it checked all 3 boxes for us, and we kind of lucked out that it was close to both stadiums. So that's kind of why we settled on where we're at on Wico Street.
And Kate, how about you? Any other reasons you decided upon your location?
We looked at a lot of places as well, and we were looking sort of around the same time that Wico was looking for their spot. Our story starts with Jason brewing in his garage. So when his garage door was open, and again, we're neighbors, when that door was open, people knew he was brewing, and it sort of turned into a party in the driveway. So we knew we wanted sort of that same relaxed community vibe in the tap room. And this building, we knew somebody who owned this building, and it has a gigantic garage door that we added a glass door to that's pretty much open all the time. It wasn't open this past Sunday. It was a little chilly, but we do keep it open most of the time. And we actually had a beer called Bigger Garage when we first opened. So that's what we were going for. And we could really picture having the brewery here when we saw it.
I love that. You didn't even allow me the opportunity to ask if you still had a garage. You dove right in because it was obviously something that was important.
Yep.
So Judy, you've been open the longest on the panel today. Looking back to 2018 when you opened, what was the sense of collaboration and community like with the other breweries in the Baltimore area? I'd love to hear, how frequently you were interacting, doing things together. What was it like?
Yeah, so really great. That's part of what got me into craft beer to start off with, even through, home brewing. I'd helped co-found a group called Baltimore Beer Babes, and it was just to get more women involved in craft beer appreciation and education and camaraderie. And so I got to know a lot of the brewers in the area and brewery owners. So the year before we opened, went around and brewed with, a ton of different people, ton of different brewers who I greatly respect. And we ended up doing about 6 collaboration beers before we opened. And everybody always took the time to, help out with any questions. I talked to the guys at Brewers Art. We use the same accountant. I talked to, the guys at Union, and they were sort of helping point out a lawyer, or things like that. That if definitely back then, if you reached out, everybody was there to help you. It was everybody sort of who's down in the trenches, and doing all the work. They know what it's like. So that camaraderie sort of has always been very, very strong. And I think one thing that makes craft beer special. I mean, people say it all the time. It's we all work together, and try to the rising tides lifts all ships type thing. And that was sort of how it always was. If you make the effort and you're down in there and you're doing it, everybody is there to help you out.
It's great to hear about that spirit. At that time, you talk about doing like collaboration beers, reaching out for help. Were you all doing events together, or any other activations as like a community?
No. There's always been the Brewers Association has always had a couple festivals that we participated in, as a brewery in planning, and still do today. But other than that, there were no, breweries had not sort of gotten together. It was sort of, somebody else and call them and talk to them and go hang out with them type thing. But
no, thanks for sharing that.
Doing like a collaboration beer. Yeah.
And so now we have the South Baltimore Brewery District. I'd love to learn about how that came to be, because it sounds like the spirit of collaboration was always there, and this is a way to take it to the next level. So how did this end up coming to be a thing?
Kate, you want to run with that? I mean, we can jump in.
I wanted to see if one of you wanted to take it. So Judy's been here the longest, and then Wico opened just a few months after us, so pretty similar timelines for us. And we all hang out. We legitimately enjoy hanging out with each other and visiting each other's tap rooms when we can. And all of us and the fourth brewery that's part of the district, Mate, which is in Checkerspot's first location, we're all within a mile of each other. So it's very walkable. And part of the issue with being a small business is getting your name out there. So we sort of informally talked about getting together and creating this district and letting people know how close we are to each other. So craft beer lovers would come to the city and make a day of it on days when the Ravens and the Orioles aren't playing at home. So that was sort of the genesis of the idea. And it is a very grassroots, self-funded effort for all of us to co-market. And we have joint events that have really worked. They've driven a lot of traffic, brought a lot of new customers, and brought some very positive results to each of us.
When you sat down to kind of make this official, did you lay out a vision? Did you write down goals? What was that process like when it became a little bit more structured?
We definitely sat down and wrote some goals as for, if new breweries moved into the area. The three of us are sort of the founding members. Our breweries are the founding members. So we set some structure to it because we've all put money into it to develop the branding, and we continue to do that. And we do offer benefits to our member breweries, including we've gotten grant funding and things like that. We have separate socials and I run those. So there is additional marketing involved with it. And it's really just to bring positivity and have people know that we're here in the city and we're close to each other and they can make a day of it in this Pigtown, Carroll, Camden neighborhood that we're in.
So when it comes to, adding new members, you three are the founding members, and you put a lot into making this happen, which is awesome. Say 5 more breweries pop up in Baltimore. What's the process like for them to join? Is there like a yearly fee like you see with other organizations, or what does that look like for other organizations looking to be part of this South Baltimore Brewing District?
Yeah, so we're not our own separate entity or anything like that. So the way we've done it is when the next event comes up, we have them pay the amount that we've paid for merch or something like that. That's the way we did it with Mate. And I think that they see the benefit to the marketing and the co-branding of the brewery district and the events that we're all involved in.
Oh, cool. So, Mike, talk to us a little bit about some of the events that are happening. Like, talk to us first about the event that kicked things off. Was that in October of last year?
Yeah, we had the inaugural Sobo Brewery District event. So each brewery hosted. We had like our own separate time slots for certain events. We all had music, so the idea was to get the crowd moving from one brewery to the other brewery within. I think we had like 2 or 3 hour windows for each brewery. We all had bands and everything. The most recent one we did, was it the Putt Putt or the May 4th one? I'm forgetting the dates there.
Putt
I think
Putt.
the
That was in
Putt Putt
July.
over the summer. Yeah. So we all made putt holes, and we did the Sobo Brewery Open. We had shirts made and everything, and each brewery had holes, and you had a scorecard and a club, and you could go around to each brewery and putt their holes and kept your score, and whoever had the lowest score, they got a prize. The one before that was the May 4th event, so we all had beers that we released, centered around like a Star Wars theme idea. So the idea is, each brewery has its own unique event or whatever going on that day, and everybody moves from brewery to brewery that day. Since we're all so close, it's walkable.
So that's such an interesting mentality, because so much in the industry right now, we're thinking about how we can keep our guests longer. But you're talking about how we can keep our guests for a couple hours, then send them to the next brewery down the street. Like, is that a change in mindset that you had to get used to? Or is it just like the collaborative spirit that exists between you all that you wanted to kind of facilitate this?
So we're
I would say this. Yeah, I think we'll probably all say. It's the collaborative spirit. We're all friends. We all hang out. So it's hey, come check out my space, but go see my buddy at go see Kate and Jason. Go see Judy and Rob. Go check those guys out. They have good beer. Their tap rooms. All of our tap rooms are all different. So you get a different experience at each brewery. So it's in all as a whole. If you come down from a consumer's perspective, you're getting all these different experiences in a mile of each other.
When you find that marketing goes out for these events, is it primarily going out from the brewery district, like social media, or is each brewery putting it out in some capacity?
Both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all do it.
Yeah, we do it from the brewery district standpoint, and then each brewery helps promote it as well.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the brewery district's social media, because that's really cool. I saw the following that you all have. You've obviously put some work into building it. How are you getting people to not just follow your individual breweries, but the district as a whole? Like, any strategies for educating your local beer drinkers and even tourists or stadium goers about why they need to know about this?
I think so. Each of us have our own partnerships with nonprofits or different organizations that we all work with, and they all know that the district is a thing and that we all support it and we all work together for it. So I think it's very much grown organically in that way. And then we worked really hard to have the narrative that we all support each other. So I think in the beginning, when we were opening, people would say, I like this better, I like that better. And we've changed that and worked hard to have them picking what they like best at each brewery rather than picking a favorite brewery. And most of our locals, I would say, bop around from brewery to brewery. It's not uncommon on a Saturday for them to hit 2 or 3 or 4.
When it comes to tourists coming in the area, how are you targeting them in advance? Is that something you're working towards?
I think most of that comes from the sporting events. We get a lot of out of town folks, and that grows organically too. Pickett specifically, we opened the year the Steelers, which is the Ravens' rival, drafted Kenny Pickett. So we, specific to us, we marketed that to Pittsburgh, and we had a lot of Steelers fans here, even though we were rooting against Kenny Pickett. And then we bet a brewery in Pittsburgh, crab cakes versus pierogies, and had to deliver crab cakes twice because we lost. But, we do market in that way to try to get more people from out of town to come, and utilizing the events that are happening in Baltimore. Like Billy Strings just played Halloween and November 1st here in Baltimore, and Pickett is very bluegrass based. So that sort of took on a life of its own with Billy Strings pre-parties here at Pickett.
I can only imagine how insane that probably was for you all.
It was great. They were 2 great days. But for the brewery district, we see a lot of articles about which cities across the United States are beer cities, and we want Baltimore to become known as a beer city.
No, I love that because it's really neat. There's all the cities we think of as like the classic beer cities. You've got the Denvers, the San Diegos, the Portlands, but it's been, say, the past even 7, 8 years to see the newer cities that you didn't historically think of as beer cities just really grow and gain a positive reputation from this. What are the factors that you all think are going to help Baltimore get to that next level? Obviously something like this is building that awareness, but what are the next steps you all are going to take to keep drumming it up and getting people to know that Baltimore is a place you need to visit?
I think that the biggest thing is this event that we're going to have next April. So the state of Maryland put into legislation that they have to invest part of our excise taxes back into the craft alcohol industry, to the breweries, wineries, and distilleries through nonprofit grants. And the 3 of us are all on the board of the Carroll Camden Business Association, which helps the small businesses in the area. So through that, we applied for one of the grants and received it to put on an event that we're calling Craft by Craft next April. And the purpose of that is to reach a multitude of audiences, craft beer lovers, women, and partner with distilleries and wineries to highlight them as well. So we're having a 10-day event, and each day has a different theme. And we're still in the planning process of that, but we have the outline of what it's going to be, and there's going to be a lot of collaboration beers between all of us. And then like one day is going to be barrel-aged beers, and we're all partnering with distilleries, and we'll release them that day. And we'll be announcing the entire schedule in the weeks to come. And there's some pretty exciting things going on with it. So the goal is for all of the people that are collaborating with us, whether they're nonprofits or other craft alcohol producers, for all of them to also blast it out to their audiences and sort of draw people in for that.
Yeah, that's what a good partnership's about. So I know you probably can't reveal all the details, but let's pretend this is a brainstorming session for a minute. You've got 10 days to fill with different themes. What are some of the ideas that were bounced around?
And just to put it out there, people can go to the website. We have a website set up for it that will have details, about each event that's happening every single day. So it'll be sobobrewdistrict.com. And so we can send you that information. That'll be really helpful. But yeah, we got together and come up with some really cool ideas. I think we can talk about the collaboration. Each brewery is going to do a collaboration with a nonprofit. So Checkerspot's going to be partnering up with Second Chance, which is right down the street from us. So they're a nonprofit that repurposes old construction materials, antiques, things like that, and gives people sort of a second chance, sort of coming out of difficult situations, out of prison situations, to get back into the workforce as well.
Yeah, 10 days is a lot of days. Obviously that's, it's 10 consecutive days, not just weekends over the course of a month, correct?
Yeah, so the weekdays, the weekends will have events at all of the breweries, sort of encouraging that hit them all, and then during the week we'll be focusing on one brewery. So that's going to be that sort of collaboration.
Judy, with regard to hitting them all, because obviously you want people coming to the district to visit everyone there. Are you doing any sort of means to track where they visit or encourage them to visit each?
So we have to, for grant purposes, we have to record data on that. So we will be reporting back on an average Saturday attendance versus attendance during that event.
So, okay, I was planning to ask you about metrics to judge the success of this. Are there any other things you three are looking at when it comes to seeing how successful the brewery district is going? Whether that's followers on social media, attendance on Saturdays. Like, I love to hear the numbers that you all are regularly looking at when it comes to your individual breweries, but also how it kind of brings together you as a whole.
We definitely look at how the social media is growing more on Instagram than Facebook. It just has better growth even for my individual brewery. But we do post to there, and every event that we do, even if they're not organized by us. For example, quarterly, we do a neighborhood cleanout with Trash Free Maryland, and they do all the collateral and posting for that. But we definitely share that, and that helps build following for it. And also brings sort of knowledge of this neighborhood that surrounds us. So all three breweries mate as well. We're all very active in the community and figuring out ways to support and build the community. So in everything that we do, we talk about that. And each of the nonprofits that will be a partner with us for Craft by Craft are all in this community. They're in Pigtown, Carroll, Camden. So like I said, it's pretty organic the way it's growing, but we do look at how the socials are growing and then continuing to blast it out to all of our individual socials as well to help drive people to the SOBO pages.
Yeah, and some of it's just talking with people who come into the brewery, and we've had just anecdotally, just a lot of people have told me how cool it is. They came down because there were the multiple breweries that they could go to, so they could sort of if you're taking an Uber, or Lyft, you can just go to one place and then walk around all day and make the day of it. And I've just heard from so many people about how excited they were to be able to do it and how cool they thought this whole thing is.
Do you feel it's giving locals a sense of Baltimore pride that now that this exists?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. A lot of our regular customers who are frequent both breweries, they all talk about it and how they love it and how they can walk. I'll be at Checkerspot or I'll be at Pickett, and one of the neighborhood people walk in and we all know each other and we'll all sit down and have beers with each other. So it's especially hyper locally within Pigtown on Carroll Camden, like the people that live here, like they definitely take pride in their local breweries.
Mike, you mentioned it earlier, I believe it might have been with regard to the putt-putt event that you all hosted. You mentioned perhaps that there was some kind of Baltimore shirt that went around or you sold, or talk to me more about kind of the merchandising of the district.
Yeah, so we've done South Baltimore Brewery District T-shirts. All the breweries had those. And then the May 4th event, we had the glass. So we had a local artist design a glass for us. And all the breweries sold it. Some of the proceeds we kicked back to a local neighborhood community organization. And you got to get a free pint at whatever brewery that you bought that glass at. Oh, you know what? I missed our biggest event, our Super Bowl. It just popped in my head.
I was wondering when you were going to get to it.
So yeah, we have we do a hot dog race every year. Well, the last 2 years since we've been doing the brewery district. Yeah, wow. It's like our
Judy,
Super Bowl.
she was ready to hop in there and talk about it.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait, there's something I'm missing here. No, we do the Sobro Brewery District, the hot dog race every year. The last home game of the Orioles season. So Wico's ketchup, Pickett's mustard, and Checkerspot is relish. The reigning champs, back-to-back champs.
Mike, walk me how
two-time reigning champ
works. Like, if I'm just showing up, what is happening?
So we hosted in the lot right next to Pickett hosted right next to them. There's a lot that local business lets us use. We have each brewery has their own tent. We have someone MC it. There's bases out there, home plate, first place, second place. There's obstacles at each base, and it's a great day. We have Lizzie's come out and he does his hot dogs. So each runner wears a hot dog costume representing the condiment, and they go from each base doing it, whether it's ring toss or a beer chug or whatever it may be, dizzy bat. It's a great time. It's a lot of fun. We started early in the morning, and then the rest of the day we hop around and we party at everybody's place.
How many people participate in this?
So it's the 3 breweries, and then we all nominate a runner. So we all each have a runner that runs for the designated condiment. So ketchup, mustard, and relish. Similar to what they do in the Orioles, stadium. It was our original idea. They do it now at Orioles Park. So each condiment does a race around the bases. With the events.
Except they don't have to chug a beer.
Right. Yeah. Ours is a little beer oriented because we're breweries, obviously. Yeah.
So originally the Orioles had an animated race for years and years.
Yep.
And Baltimore has strong feelings about their condiments. And subsequent to us doing our in real life race, they now have it at a couple games a year. It's not every one. When they don't have the real life race, they have the animated one. But we like to say that theirs is cute and funny, and ours is serious business. And if you watch our socials, it is very serious. It's really we could be competitors in the beer industry, but we have a very intense competition with this condiment race.
There's no collaboration there. Whoever wins, and you get the crown to wear, right?
Yeah.
They actually get a Dotson trophy. It's at Checkerspot.
The wiener. Yeah.
Yeah, the hot dog. But it's a lot of fun. The first year we did it, we were standing out there in the morning, and I was like, I don't know if anyone's going to come to this. And then sort of like a wave, people came out of nowhere, and they all had their gear on. They're sporting their colors, who they supported.
Yep.
And even folks who go to one of the breweries more than the other ones, they will choose their condiment based off of their hot dog. They don't care.
It's not brewery specific, condiment specific.
It's very condiment specific.
Very much.
Yeah, and it's a huge social media campaign. So for Craft by Craft in April, the Orioles will have begun their season, and the last day of Craft by Craft will be the kickoff to campaign season. So you'll start seeing condiment content starting then.
I like that. And I really do hate to ask this question. Are there any beers themed around this competition?
So we did one that does not have mustard in it, but our runner worked out a lot. So we did a beer called Heavy Lifting, which was a hazy IPA and had yellow on it. And he was wearing a Team Mustard shirt on the can.
Although that is a good idea. We could do a small batch next year of pickle beer.
Yeah, I feel like, Mike, you could do like a sour relish gosa or something like that.
Yeah, right.
You have to. Mike has to do a ketchup one.
We have a tomato themed beer.
Maybe you just put the condiments in a hat, and whatever condiment you get, you have to make the beer based around that. So you don't get to go with one you like best. Sounds like a challenge.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to one of the things that's really helped make this possible. I want to talk about the grant that you all were awarded earlier in 2024. So grants seem overwhelming lots of times, and I feel lots of breweries don't dive into the process as much as they should. Talk to me a little bit about how, one, you became aware of this, what the process was like to, even complete the application, and what is offered you as a result of being awarded it.
So my background before starting a brewery was in nonprofit operations and advancement. So I love writing grants. And so I have sort of a knowledge of the grants that are available statewide and citywide for small businesses. And then Judy's on the board of the Brewers Association of Maryland, and they blasted this out to organizations to let them know that it was available. And it was a pretty easy application. It was sort of a long process to hear that we received it, because they weren't necessarily looking for just smaller scale events. Yeah. For example, the guilds, the craft alcohol guilds in Maryland, got a good chunk of the money in one of the rounds to do a statewide marketing campaign for the breweries, distilleries, and wineries. But I think we made a pretty good case, I guess we did, to meet the goals of the program, which is to increase diversity, bring knowledge, increase tourism, all those good things, to sort of drive revenue to the state's craft alcohol producers.
No, that's fantastic. It's such a cool honor to be awarded that grant. Obviously, you had the background of it, but it's awesome to see that it actually came to be.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of talk about that to all the small business owners that I know, because there are some really good programs out there that can be a game changer for small businesses and small breweries.
As you all grow the district, like what's regular communication like between you all? Obviously, you're going to each other's breweries, having a pint, but when it comes down to like having conversations about your events, partnerships, and ways to work together, is there a regular meeting schedule? How often are you all communicating, and what does that typically look like?
We do have a regular meeting schedule now. You know, brewery owners aren't really like meeting people. But we do have a meeting set for once a month leading up to Craft by Craft, because it's a lot of coordination and a lot of moving parts, and sort of each of us taking different responsibilities and roles to make sure that it all rolls out. But until recently, it was more informal, I would say. It wasn't on a set meeting schedule. It would be, let's all get together and talk about the next thing. You know, always willing to hear ideas from everybody, and everybody's super willing. Like no one's ever said no to to any of the ideas that pop up. So that's good.
So looking at everything you've done to build the district, what have some of the challenges been that you three have faced with getting it up and making it successful? Is there anything that comes to mind?
I mean, I think it's just having people know about it.
Yeah.
And you know, just getting it out there. And like Kate said, it's grown very organically. So it's, you know, just trying to get more people to know about it, because when people know about it, they want to come to all the breweries, and they want to do, you know, go to the different events that we have. So I think, at least from my side, I think that's probably one of the bigger challenges.
Yeah, I would say this similar thing. Just getting the word out, word of mouth, spreading it. One thing that we try to do is, like, if we're at beer festivals or whatnot and people ask us where we're located, you know, we tell them where we're located, but we also say, in the same sense, within the small Sobo Brewery District, you know, Checkerspot and Pickett, you know, and Mate, we're all right there together too. So it's word of mouth, just getting it out there.
Is Sobo what people were calling the area already, or is it something you've adopted as part of the name?
I would say, like, local people, I would say, are familiar with that term. Yeah.
So looking at what you've done so far in really a small period of time, you have done a lot to grow the district. Let's look a year in advance, you know, following your Craft by Craft, a little past that. Like, where do you want to be? Then let's say 5 years from now, what will the state of the district in Baltimore look like? Big picture stuff here.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, hopefully, you know, the development over, you know, on the entertainment district will, I would love if it was done in 5 years. That would be amazing. You know, because they have a lot of money, you know, privately, as well as city and state funding.
Hey, Judy, what are they building surrounding you all? What kind of district?
So it's going to be there's going to be a huge hotel for the casino. The casino's working on that. And then there's going to be basically like a long block worth of retail. And then there's a music venue that is partway through construction, a good sized music venue, like it would fit a couple thousand. And then they have one other sort of building that they have been wanting to do, sort of like a restaurant bar type of thing. So the street runs from the casino to Raven Stadium. And then what we would like to do is, you know, we're working on different things with the Ravens, with, you know, the neighborhood associations in Pigtown, as well as with us, to sort of try to beautify and improve the, you know, our area. And so hopefully, you know, with them included, we'll be able to get some, you know, some money, some funding to be able to do some of the work on our side to really expand this whole entertainment district. And I think the Sobo Brewery District is sort of the base. You know, it's the base of what will, you know, drive this development and improvement on sort of on our side, on the other, you know, the other side of the stadium.
Thanks for sharing that. Mike and Kate, where does your vision take it in a few years?
Okay.
Like Judy said, Mate is sort of on the other side of the Ostend Bridge. Ostend is the road that sort of connects us all. We're all about a block or two away from Ostend Street. And stadium parking lots are along there. So I think the goal in getting people to travel between us all is really beautifying that. I would love to see there being some murals and street art and incorporating local artists. Like Judy said, we've started conversations with the Ravens, and I'm hoping that those will continue and they might help contribute to some tree planting. They have NFL green initiatives that they promote for their big events like the NFL draft and the Super Bowl, but we're hoping that the Ravens will contribute to that. Coming up, that's obviously a longer conversation. And then we're also working with the city planning department to see what they can do to help us. Obviously, there's some rules about alcohol signage. Yeah, I think beautifying Ostend and making it really a really nice place for people to come and visit and feel safe walking between all the breweries would be great. And then also connecting it to the stadium, the casino, and any entertainment venues that open.
No, excited to see, and I know I've told you before, but I need to make a visit up your way and hit
Yeah.
all the breweries in an afternoon. Trust me, I want to.
You'll have to let us know when you're coming.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
Maybe around the hot dog race time. I think my little one might get a kick out of that.
You have
Although-
to choose sides. You can't come in neutral clothing.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pick a side too.
So if I
House
wore like a
divided,
South
maybe.
Baltimore Brewery shirt, it's not like kosher to do that.
I guess you could do
there,
that.
there you go. Yeah, that would work. Yeah, there you go.
Well, so you've created a destination in Baltimore when it previously didn't have a reputation as being a beer city. You are actively working and making changes to improve upon that. You're doing awesome things. So there's plenty of other places across the country, both small towns, big cities, that don't have the level of organization and collaboration based on events and marketing that you all have. So looking at everything you all learned and have done since you started this, do you have any recommendations and action items for someone looking to start something similar to the district in their area, what they should do to make this a reality? I would love to just kind of go around the room and hear each of your thoughts on that.
I mean, it definitely takes work. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work and energy to put it together. So it's not like it just happened. Kate really was instrumental in sort of getting this started and with the grants. But everybody really does need to put some time and effort into it. It doesn't just magically come together because you want it.
About how many hours a week would you say, Judy, you spend on district-focused work?
Oh, I mean, it really varies. When we're trying to get ready for the craft by craft, I think we're all putting a lot of time and energy into it because we really want this to be a really special event that we can then continue to do each year. So really trying to make this first one really, really great. And so, it's fun. It's fun to work on the different events, because it will directly, benefit our breweries by bringing people in. And yes, I guess it really depends. I'd say at least an hour.
Well, I love, obviously you
Probably
all are close already, but I love how it brings you even more tight-knit to plan for a better district together. I just love that collaboration and networking and just value that comes from those relationships.
Yeah, the meetings are pretty fun. We do get to have a beer.
I would say no beer at those meetings. Mike, how about you? For other areas looking to replicate something similar, what's your advice?
I would say be open-minded and more thoughtful, creative. Keep an open mind to certain ideas. There's definitely ideas that have been thrown out there where I was like, I'm not sure about it, and then you think about it a little bit more, and you're like, that's actually a cool idea. We should give it a try. And then be friendly with your neighbors. Pop in to the brewery, say hi, have a beer. That's kind of how we got this thing started. We were just having beers together and started talking, and be a good neighbor. Just walk around and be friendly.
So important. And Kate, any tips?
I think probably what I think is the key to success is we have very active ownership teams. All of us are involved in the development of all of the ideas. It doesn't hurt that everybody's super agreeable.
I know you all are so friendly. I want to hear an argument at some point or someone disagree today.
Yeah, I mean,
That's not fun.
no, that is. I was like, yeah, we generally just like, yeah, sir, that works, sure, that's good.
But you had mentioned in the beginning, Andrew, that we didn't call it a trail. We don't have a passport. We definitely talked about that at the beginning, but we wanted to sort of stay away from that, and we wanted to run it ourselves. We wanted the branding to be what we wanted it to be, and very much understood what we wanted to get out of it, and have our partnerships with the community, and build it that way. So I think that that's important to note, that we do have all of our teams supporting us, but it's the ownership of each of the breweries that really sits down and hashes out what we want everything to be.
I truly love that. So Kate, if someone's looking to follow the South Baltimore Brewery District online, where's the best place to follow? As well as where can we look at your brewery?
Yeah, so Judy had mentioned the website, which is not updated for Craft by Craft yet, but it will be in the coming weeks. And then Sobo Brewery District on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram's probably the best place to follow for up-to-date information. And then each of the 4 breweries are linked in the bio of South Baltimore Brewery District.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you all taking the time today to share what you've created. I can't wait to visit. And Judy, Mike, Kate, I'll see you before too long, I promise, but it's awesome to hear the story. Good luck with Craft by Craft, and we'll see you all soon. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Andrew.
much.
Appreciate it.